Good morning! Welcome to Natasha Makes. I hope that you've had a fabulous weekend. We had a very exciting one because Captain Small turned 2. 2! Angie, 2! Where did that time go? I've got Angie Atwood in the studio with me. She's just having a quick cup of tea and just taking a breath because it's been a bit manic this morning. But we're all good. We are all good, ready to go. And the reason that Angie is with us today is because she's bringing us her Stanley the Stag pattern, which is fab. And a lot of you have already bought him, which is fab. And this is what he looks like in your wall hanging. A bit gorgeous. And then I'm just got a piecing really neatly down here. And I'm just very aware that the last time I did that, whoosh, the whole lot went. And then, oh, that's a good idea. See, that's clever. That's And then this is the size of Stanley as a lap quilt. So we've got him in 2 different Joe Morton for Moda collections. So it's up to you which one you would like. He's a bit gorgeous, isn't he? Look at him. Oh, just love it. And then we've got Liberty collections for you for the wall hanging. Kind of want to hang it. Oh, there we go. My bell. The bells. The bells. What I might do is
I have got little hangers. Will that help?
No, because I've got nothing to actually hang him onto. So I'm just going to balance him precariously there for a little while. But you get the gist. There he is. I'm just going to do the show from about here so that we can see him. Right. Let's see who's with us this morning. Let me turn down my volume, else you get me on a delay, which is never good. Good morning all. Right, so who have we got? Oh, Fiona Jack, early bird there this morning. And Louis, Laurie, good morning to you. Who else have we got? Gosh. Heather, good morning. And June, good morning. June, what's it like in Eastbourne this morning? You see, June is my weather gauge because then I know what it's like for my mum and dad because she's literally a few miles away. Jess Entwistle, love Stanley. Good morning, Jess, how are you? And then we've got Beverly, good morning, and Carol, hello, and Donna and Kaz, good morning, good morning. Anna Sewing That is waving, and she's here at the start today as well. Well done, well done. No Sudoku for you today then. Julie and Ali, hello, and Pam from a crisp Nuneaton, got back from the school run, brrr, and happy birthday to Captain Small, thank you. So I tried to take a photo, you know the first day at school photo that you do in front of your front door? Yeah, it looks like I've got horns, doesn't it? Have you noticed?
Good placement.
I'll just stand here for a bit, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, why not? And she just screamed every time I put her on the step. Every time I put her on the step because she was so desperate to get in the car and go to school.
Oh.
It's her first day because now she's 2. It's her first day. She can actually stay. So she's very excited. So the house is very quiet this morning. Claire forgot it was Monday. I mean, that happens. And wondered what to do with your morning. Us. Always us. Who else have we got? Jackie, good morning. And Kirsty. I thought you'd found some antlers there. No, you're putting on your glasses. I was like, all right there, Ange. Kirsty, good morning. Good morning. She's good morning, Natasha, Angie, and the menagerie. Usual deal here till meeting at 10:30. Then she catches up later, you see. We've got everybody's little bits going on. We've got Naomi and Debbie and Jan, good morning. And Linda as well. She said, oh, I love him. But her boiler's playing up.
Oh. Been there.
Oh, it's sunny in Leeds, says Naomi. Good morning. Oh, cloudy in Malvern.
Foggy here.
It is foggy, isn't it?
Here,
yeah. Oh, Jane's got grandma duties with Pippa. But she's used to grandma watching us. So that's okay. Morning, Pippa. Hello. You're all here. Good morning. And, there we go. June says it's glorious here. Sunny breaking through. Going to be hot. Oh. And Daryl's cooking beetroot. I mean, why not?
I love roast beetroot.
But not for breakfast.
Not for breakfast.
Geraldine's here. Good morning, Geraldine. She says it's lovely to see you back on our screens, Angie. Well, you'll see her properly in a minute. It looks like I'm just talking to the stag at the minute. And oh, hang on. Have we got 2 Naomis? Oh, lovely to see another Naomi. Do you know my best friend when I was 6 was a Naomi? You don't get many
No,
Naomis.
it's quite an unusual.
And some people like to be
name.
Naomi, and some people like to be Naomi. See, it's yeah. Good morning, Eileen. Oh, she says she's going to tassel her smarf today.
Oh, I'm hoping to get to make some smarfs this week.
Well, now you're not doing this. And Elizabeth says, "I look funny with horns." Well, you know.
I like the
it's a look.
ears. The ears are better at the side.
It's a look. I have to thank Carol. You know, with my smarf, how I am quite rubbish at rolling seams. I just can't. Like, there are some people that can. We used to have guests on Sewing Quarter all the time. And just roll your seams. And they were all perfect. And I'd do it and just be like, it didn't work. So Carol, bless her heart, and she's made me one for here and one for my Hochanda box, has made me a seam roller that I can actually iron on. I was absolutely delighted. Thank you so, so much. That is just the sweetest thing. I'm going to use this.
Very good.
And otherwise it looks like a tiny truncheon for when the children are back. No, I'm absolutely thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. Isn't it great?
You just need to put some really loud classical music on and use it as a baton.
Oh, yeah.
Jump around.
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, Expelliarmus or
Yeah.
whatever it was. I haven't watched Harry Potter for ages. Alrighty, so thank you, Carol, for that. And Tracy and Jill have just joined us, and Valerie as well, and Christine, hello, and Jenny, hello. Okay, so let's have a quick look. All of these are on the website, so if you head down to www.natashamakes.com, then they should come up underneath today's show. Emma has tagged them all, so that's all good. What I've done is I've put 3 different kits together if you want to make, and we've made him an all year round Stanley, haven't we? We had a big conversation about whether or not he should be just a Christmas Stanley for the lap quilts or an all year round Stanley. So we've put him in sort of autumnally wintry tones for him to be an all year round option.
Yeah.
Or you could just whip him out for
winter.
winter.
The graphic of the stag is quite sort of fashionable in interiors.
Lots
of people
we have
love
stags
it,
all year
don't they?
round.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where the idea came from. And then I know there's lots of people out there that just love Christmas. So
Emma is one of those, yeah.
And as a lap quilt, we did have that discussion this morning, but I thought it'd be lovely for children to have like that. It's not just like Christmas Day, but you could, when the tree goes up.
Yeah, and the advent calendars come out, then that's the one.
That's the one where your Christmas lap quilt.
With that in mind, we've got a handful of Liberty Christmas lap quilts.
As well.
I'll show you. Let me show you. Right, so if you're after Liberty, there's 3 meters of fabric in the kits for these, and the pattern's separate. Let me show you.
Am I right in thinking that Liberty haven't done, is this the first year they've done specific Christmas? Because I was at a Liberty meeting before lockdown, and I'm sure that there was that they don't often do Christmas.
They don't often. But when they do, look, it's a bit gorgeous, isn't it? So you get a metre of each of that, and then you get a metre, because look at that batik.
Gorgeous.
With that. It's exactly the colour of
smoky, bluey, grey.
It's slatey grey, isn't it? So you get a metre of all of those, and then you can make your Stanley. So that is option, that's your Liberty option, and I've got a handful of those. Now, if you would like, I've got 2 different colourways for the Joe Morton. So if you're going all Moda on me, then this is your brown leaves, because the leaves here are, well, brown. I mean, yeah.
As opposed to the red leaves.
As opposed to the red leaves, yeah, which I'll be getting to in a minute. Well, this is the brown colourway, and so it's called by the colour of your leaves. And then you've got, so each has got a brown, a red, and a creamy colour in each of those. And again, a metre of each. So that's 3 metres of Moda in that pack. Excuse me, stretching. Or, let's see, red leaves. All becomes clear now, doesn't it? All becomes super clear. So again, a metre of each of your Joe Morton. It's from the Shelbyville range, this one. Oh, you see Katie's starting her Christmas makes. She's done advent calendars. quilts, present bags, and now 2 Stanley Stags.
Oh,
She's ready. She's ready.
Can I just say, with the fabric amounts
yeah.
that we've put together as well, Natasha, just to make people aware
Shall
that we had
on.
the conversation, didn't we, about...
I'll come over here and you come on, so you're not just a voice from afar.
I don't mind. I've got our measuring tape thing.
We have. We are, just over 1 metre apart.
1.5 meters, yeah, we're doing okay. Hi, everyone. Just while Natasha's talking about fabrics, we had a discussion about bundling it, and basically, because we've put together basically 1 metre of each colour, so that you can choose whichever way you want the colourways to be. So basically, the head, you only really need 0.5 metre. But if we were to only give you 0.5 metre of one of the fabrics, then we're dictating which way around your colourways go.
We're not dictators.
We're not dictators at all. Yeah. So you could choose to have a red head on a neutral background, or on a brown background.
I quite like the idea of having the darker.
Because it depends on your interior as well, whether you want it predominantly beige or red or brown.
So that's he could go a chocolatey colour onto a lighter background, and then you'd have the red
border. So whichever way, we decided to give you 1 metre of each rather than a 0.5 metre, and then you have to only use that.
So there's a 0.5 metre left over.
Yes, but that's all.
Stash.
Because even with whatever you choose for the border, then the other remaining fabric is for the binding.
Nice.
And then for the head, obviously, you've got the accent.
Well, then actually you could use that 0.5 metre in strips for your
So here,
back,
this would be 0.5 metre of the cream left over, which is it's a great neutral anyway. I love this spot, the way it went together. The can you see the way the spots actually went?
Is that...
And that's totally not...
Is it?
Not planned at all.
You could have got away with like the best piecing ever.
Just like, look at that diagonal.
I know,
there,
I'm really impressed.
Goes into the next. It's just like
action, and here as well.
Yeah, it's a really, really good blender. Multi-directional fabric. The spot of that, it's beautiful. And this actually, the leaves.
Wow, I love how these leaves look. It just goes into there, and it just all.
And if you look at
through.
it from a distance on the screen, it looks like they've made little circles in the monitor. Can you see the little circles?
Would have made little circles.
The cream, little leaves, there's like little circles going on.
So there's a monitor in the corner which shows what's actually going out on air, and that's why we're all just looking into the distance going, oh yeah, that looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Angie, on today's show...
I just wanted to explain about the fabrics, that rather than cut the fabric down, you can choose which way you put it.
Nice. So we've got 3 different options for your lap quilt. And then you get your pattern, you buy your pattern on top of that. And then for your Christmas wall hanging, we'll talk about how you've quilted those today as well, because we've got Westerly rulers on the show. Hurrah. We were meant to do this show about 6 weeks ago, weren't we? Something like that. Oh, was it? Gosh, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
I'm kind of pleased we postponed it now anyway.
So we'd originally thought about bringing him out in June, and we were in heavy lockdown. The weather was glorious. You would have all been in your gardens. And I just thought, this is
and
just...
the Westerly rulers hadn't come in from
and
America.
that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Well, when I was... I'd already designed the patchwork, but when I started to design the quilting options, I had a bit of a light bulb moment. So that's why I rang you to say, shall we postpone? It's a bit wintry sort of Christmas project, and we're in the height of the summer. But the main reason was that I'd had a light bulb moment about a new set of templates, and so we've waited a couple of months to get this new set of templates to the UK.
They're in the country.
So
I don't know about you, but anything coming from America at the moment.
It's just been a nightmare, because
everything seems to get postponed by another month, and it should be. Oh no, it's going to be another month.
Well, we had a shipment actually pulled by Canadian Customs and just held for weeks.
Nice.
So
thanks, Canadian Customs.
Well, they just checked the whole ship.
Because that's the other way round they're going, is up through Canada and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are all things that you guys probably don't even want to know about, but it's kind of relevant, because when you're waiting for stuff from us and going, oh, how hard can it be? Actually, really quite difficult. Right now, really quite difficult, especially because a lot of the quilting stuff comes from America. Trying to actually get it here one way or another, it's really hard.
And also the new set that we'll be talking about later, we're a bit disappointed because it's a bit limited on numbers, and although we probably we will be able to get more, I'm sure, but probably not until 2021, because if it's a couple of
Not
months...
until next Christmas. We've got what we can.
I will come on to say that actually it's not just for Christmas. You know?
Ooh,
So
okay.
I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Have you got more fabric to go
I've
through?
got more. Yeah, I've got more fabrics. Right. Okay. Let me show you the other fabric options. I've got to stop wafting near your bits and
I've
bobs
got them
over
weighted
here.
down. They're weighted down.
Okay. So this was the Stanley that sparked the show. It's a bit gorgeous, isn't he?
And he was inspired by a Christmas card from last year, actually. I had a lovely teal Christmas card with a hare in it, actually, and a bit of silver and a bit of... There was a little red robin in a tree.
So we wanted to find this sort of option for you, and that was when the Liberties came out and they were in teal. It was like, oh, oh, that's the one. So with that in mind, and I've put bells in each kit because we figured that you could bell up his earrings.
Yeah.
I've got...
I love those bells.
The bells are really pretty, aren't they? They're proper Liberty bells.
Because you showed me on the phone and I couldn't really see.
Oh, I know, it's rubbish, isn't it? I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So, with this, you have got a 1/2 metre of the, it's actually called Baltic, like a deep teal. And then you've got a 1/4 metre of your 2 Liberties. Look at the silver Liberty. Yeah, that's your Wiltshire shadow.
That's beautiful, those
It's
metallics.
gorgeous, isn't it? Really, really
lovely.
gorgeous. And then I've put aside, so for Captain Small's pencil case, I've put aside some of this for her pencil case.
She likes pink, doesn't she?
She loves
little bit of
all
pink.
the colours.
Oh.
Kaif is her favourite designer. So, you know she unloaded all
I
62
saw.
bolts by herself. Well, no, actually, that's not true. Her brother unloaded 2 and she screamed at him because he put them in the wrong place. You know, this is another option that we've got for you. I can't remember all the names, but basically you've got 1/2 metre of the red and then you've got your silver.
That's the one that's kind of made up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the one that we've got him in behind us. There we go. So that is another option. And then if you wanted to go with the teal, but still have that little hint of... Oh, it's a juggle with my bells. I don't know why I put bells with all of them. You'd have got the idea, wouldn't you? The bells, the bells.
That's gorgeous.
I know. I don't know which one.
I know. Well,
I
it
do
again,
rather
it
love the
depends on
red.
people's interiors too, doesn't it? Whether
It
you're...
really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Now, all of these kits are coming in at $14.99. I've tried to keep it as absolutely reasonable as I can. Now, if you're a red and a gold kind of a gal, oh boy, then you've got your 1/2 metre of thread there with a little bit of fluff. And then you've got a 1/4 metre of your Liberty and a 1/4 metre of your Wiltshire in gold. Gold! And, you know, so that is another option. And the bells. All your bells there. Gosh, we've got so many options, haven't we, this morning? And then last one for you, because if I hadn't have done this, Emma would have shot me or something, because she's like, you need gold and green and red. Isn't that right, Ems? Oh, she's gone off to stock take. I could have got away with it. So yeah, this is your most traditional, with your bells, your most traditional red, green and gold.
Lovely.
Bit gorgeous. And again, in your Liberties. So all of those are $14.99 and then your pattern is $14.99. You pick which ones you want. I'm going to just tidy up and then crack on out your way. And then you can, you know, you can get going.
Yeah, I promise not to be here 3 hours today.
That's all right.
Like the last.
Okay. It was lovely.
I have my watch on. Well,
I'm going to plug the iron in. And all I've got to do is ring at midday to check that Captain Small's still okay at school.
Oh.
And then we're all good.
Excellent. Well, I'm just going to put my grid glider on because I didn't get round to doing that before we started off.
For all your thready bits.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. So, yeah, we're going to start with some piecing this morning. But before I do that, I'm putting this grid glider on. If you haven't seen one of these before, you might think it's a bit odd because this looks like the the slippery mats that we use for free motion, which that's precisely what it is, except it's got a grid printed on it.
Do you sew with that all the time?
Yeah. So because this one, well, that's the beauty of the grid,
Right.
and the fact that it's got the square cut out of the middle, not just a little round hole.
Oh, nice.
You like the free motion ones, you usually have just a little hole in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got the square cut out for your feed dogs, and therefore we can leave this on all the time. I'm going to match up the grid on here to Tasha's machine. And then it really does help with piecing. So I'm just trying to find the horizontal line.
There's been an entire conversation whilst we've been on air about how this beetroot is being cooked.
About what?
How the beetroot is being cooked. She's just cooking it in the microwave. Anna wants to know if it's chopped or whole. How long does it take? And do you put it in a bowl of water and is it covered? And then Carol says that she roasts it in foil with herbs, garlic and olive oil and even some carrots, or grated to make a pink slaw with a little light good vinegar. Oh, this is sounding amazing. This is becoming some sort of cookery show.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing though, isn't it? Once people are creative, they get creative all over the shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, excuse me while I'm just sorting out all my little elements here, because this is for me to explain how the... is that a bit? Trying to decide.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Trying to sort myself out. There we go. Okay. But it's good to show you this because you might think that Stanley looks a bit complicated depending on your experience. And the first thing I have to say is that it's super simple. There's only a couple of techniques involved, making half square triangles and basically putting a little corner triangle either in a square or a rectangle.
Okay,
so yeah, a couple of techniques.
So if you have something like your creative grid stripology ruler to cut your little squares,
any creative grids really that you know you can get your precise measurements and with a diagonal 45-degree angle, so that when you're trimming your squares down, that's all the skills that you need. The main skill that you need is to be concentrating when you put it together.
Oh, now that's me out of it.
Not
then.
actually the, making the 1/4-inch little blocks.
Now, Angie, Sharon says, can we have Stanley as a PDF, please? He's only available in paper form, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment. I have, that people will know, I've resisted putting PDFs out there of my patterns. I think I've only got Radiance as a PDF at the moment. But I do have them usually as a PDF with my American supplier in the US.
Right.
Because of the shipping at the moment, and people all over the world, like Australia, stuff's taking 2 weeks to get to them.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. Obviously, I do ship worldwide, but because of COVID is slowing everything down. So Steady are meant to be taking the pattern.
Right.
They've known about it for a little while, but we haven't got there yet. So I was going to put it as a download with them.
You can put it with a download with us,
but
if you would like.
we can certainly have a conversation.
So basically, watch this space.
Still just like, because in the UK, to be fair, we can post all over the UK. And I would prefer people to have a printed. If you're in the UK, I would much prefer you to have a printed copy. But we'll have a conversation with that. We might bring it to, if I can.
It's and also it's not our design, so it's entirely up to you. I think for me, the issue with a PDF comes down to a trust thing with lots of people that, I would be, the amount of time and effort that goes in to making one, this isn't just a gimmick for you. This is your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So when people have it as an email, it's very easy to just forward to people, which just isn't fair. As designers, I
think people do it without even realising sometimes that, I've got this, I'll share, they're just trying to be kind to your friends, but actually it's not being kind to the designer, like you say, because it does take
that's why paper copies
months
are
and months and months
yeah.
to bring a pattern out. So you're less, yes, you could pass your paper pattern to a friend as well, but you're less likely to let go of your paper pattern than just ping off a PDF.
And sometimes, like you say, it's not even that people even take two thoughts about
No,
it. It's
they
just
don't
I've
really-
got this. Let me
yeah.
share it with you.
Yeah.
And so we just just
So,
so
yeah.
that you know, as everyone watching, as an awareness, you know, what you're paying for is actually all of Angie's time, skill, knowledge, background, training, and everything else.
And all the test, you know, like
Yeah,
you
all
say,
the
the
testing
testing
pieces.
and
and the
everything
fabric that it
goes-
takes to test all these things. I don't know
And the
about you, but
measurements.
I've got a whole box of just fabric that's been tested and tried and failed, and you know, Mark
Yeah.
1 and
Well, I'd already been working on this for several months, and then just this week, since speaking to you and wanting to make some new samples up, I think these samples just behind me have taken, like, you know, to prepare for the show, about 4 days. So, like you say, it's you know, it's a lot of work that goes into testing patterns. But yeah, I prefer. To be honest, it's not a great deal to ship anywhere in the UK, is it?
No, we
It's,
can
you
easily
know,
do
it's
that.
super easy, and it's a nice printed pattern, a good quality printed pattern. So, getting back to the piecing.
Yes.
What I've done with the pattern, he can be made as a cushion, a wall hanging, or a lap quilt. So if you want him as just a cushion, you stop at the centre point there. So just make the stag's head with the frame round, and that will give you a nice sort of 18-inch cushion. You can actually put any size borders onto him.
So how do we size him up? Is that easy to do?
So the wall hanging and cushion are all based on one set of cutting instructions, and the lap quilt has a second set of cutting instructions.
Right.
So
perfect.
inside the pattern, just inside the front cover here.
Do you want that on a close up? There we go.
There we go. You can see there. I have to get used to which way to. There we go.
Yeah,
Squidge
nearly
the
a year
pattern.
and I still get it the wrong way, so don't worry about it.
So you've got all your cutting instructions there, whether it's you're cutting out for the cushion and wall hanging or the lap quilt. And as you notice, they've all got little either numbers or little icons by them. So some have got like a little circle or a square further down here, and little numbers. So what you need to do is, once you're cutting all your little bits out, is make sure that you keep them labelled. So that's what I've got. That's what I was just messing about with here on the table. And literally, they can just be little scraps of paper. Like these are my bits that I haven't cut out yet for the other bit. I'm just going to do one block with you this morning to show you how it all goes together. But basically, I just rip up scrap bits of paper, put a number or an icon on it, and keep everything so that you know what you're using.
Oh, Sue says that Angie's paper patterns are wonderful, and really agree. The paper patterns are such good quality that it's definitely worth having the paper version.
Oh.
They're a work of art in themselves.
Oh, bless. Thank you, Sue. Thank you. I do put a lot of effort into them. You know, to
Oh,
me,
you can see that,
I do want
yeah.
them to be, you know, like you say, kept and enjoyed. So I've just got to check, because all my papers went flapping all over the place. No, I'm just checking I've got them the right way around. That's all right. That's all right.
I did waft.
So yeah, what I was wanting to get across is I showed a friend came. I went for a walk with a friend last week or the week before, and I showed her Stanley, and she said, "Oh, he's gorgeous, but he looks too complicated for me to make." And that made me think, actually, you know, he's not actually that complicated. So that's the first point I wanted to get across. She did change her mind afterwards. She messaged me and said, actually, I think I would like to try and make him.
Yeah.
So as I said, you just need to make a couple of blocks, and the instructions take you step by step through that. So one of the first things that we're going to make is some half square triangles, and we're going to make 8 at once. So one of the cutting instructions gives you a measurement to cut 2 pieces of fabric, one of each, whether that's the background and the head fabric, and it's got this icon of the cross on. And you can see I've just drawn from corner to corner across one of the fabrics as a marking.
Do you want to show that close? There you go.
That over there. Oh, there we go. So I've just drawn corner to corner across there, and I'm going to just stitch 1/4 of an inch either side of each of these lines first, and then we're going to trim this down, and this will make 8 half square triangles at once.
Wow.
So it's
That's
yeah.
not bad, is it?
No, so let me make sure I've got 1/4 inch on. There we go. Getting used to different machines.
It's I always say it's like driving somebody else's car. The basic things are there, but
Yeah,
just a bit different.
Exactly.
Just a bit different.
And I like to just use a little leader piece of fabric actually when you're doing things like this with piecing. So I've just put a scrap piece of paper, fabric, not paper, that would really blunt your needle, folded in half in first. And that just saves, especially when you're working with triangles or off corners, it saves those threads being sucked up, and it chews the end of your fabric up. So you're already sort of stitching away. So I like this foot pedal actually. It's really, it doesn't go racing away on you when you put your foot down. The grid glider here is where, as well, because of the grid underneath, it makes these half square triangles awesome.
Nice and smooth.
Because you can actually line the corner up with the grid on the table.
Oh, nice.
So actually all those diagonal lines that you end up drawing across things, you don't, if you're doing just single half square triangles, you actually don't need to put them on.
Oh, that's gone.
Am I moving along there? Yeah. Okay. And if you do have a knee lift, then on your machine, obviously when you're...
It lifts it for you.
When, I know some machines do, but you can have, you know, some machines have a knee lift, don't they? So.
But just when you cut the thread, it'll lift it all for you.
I've turned all, I like all the fandangle stuff switched off.
Oh, I forgot to switch that bit off. Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, it is. This one is lifting. I see what you
Sorry,
mean.
do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's okay. But I won't. That's okay because I won't use the. It's basically more for when we're quilting. So then I'm just going the other side, and then I'll show you where I'm at.
Jackie says, good morning. First time watching live for a while. Is on annual leave today. Great pattern. Love Stanley.
Ah.
Emma, who works with us, she's very happy because her dog's called Stanley.
She said.
I bet that was one of the first things she told you, wasn't it? I've got a Stanley.
Yeah. And I've had a few people actually say love the name. I don't know. I did, when I was making the Liberty one, I thought actually that he looked rather sweet and girly. And I said to my husband, he might have to be a Stephanie. And he said, you don't get girl stags, Ange.
Oh. Well, this is it.
Well, that is a good point.
Josh, bless him, he was at his mum's house in Wales, and he was making friends with some goats, and he said to me, "Oh, I've been making friends with this young man. He's very good at making cheese." I'm like, Josh, if it's a boy, that ain't cheese. He was slightly horrified.
I was just going to say
I don't know what you've been eating.
I bet that went down well.
Or not, but it's not cheese.
So we've just done, as I said, stitched 1/4 of an inch either side of those diagonal lines. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, people might think this is a bit scary, those of you who've not seen this technique before for doing 8. I'm going to actually cut horizontally and vertically, so in the opposite direction to the angles, and then on the angles.
Do you want to show that close up? There you go.
Okay, so that's what I've stitched.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to trim vertically, horizontally, and then across the angles as well. So this, I'm chopping this piece of fabric into 8. You're
having a good old chop at that,
good
aren't
old
you?
chop, yes, exactly.
Oh my goodness me.
So we can just keep it nice and square and line up on the centre.
Just trying to think where my rotating cutting mat is. That
Yes.
would have been helpful, wouldn't it?
That would have been helpful. Obviously, try not to keep everything
It's in
moving.
the car. Shall I message Ems and get her to get out of the car for me?
I'm only doing this once, so...
Oh, are you? Okay. Would have been really useful.
Might be a bit late, so I'm just taking my time. Obviously, try not to move the fabric is good.
We do have rotating cutting mats actually now.
You know, I've made all that making this week, and I was struggling with like a blunting blade in my cutter, and I put a new blade in last night for the show, and you know that obvious thing when you think, why didn't I do this?
Why didn't I do that?
A lovely new blade.
I haven't loaded those rotating cutting mats yet, so I will do that after the show.
So there we go.
Stock take.
We've chopped that up into 8 little pieces,
So we've
we've
got...
got
There you go.
8 little
Oh,
tiny.
they're proper itty-ditty ones.
Yeah. Well, the wall
Nice.
hanging and cushion is based on a 1-inch grid. So these are 1.5-inch little half square triangles, which is why it's good to make 8 at once.
Nice.
But you do only need to make these ones, these small ones, you only need to make 8. Now a little tip, because I'm not usually on shows with my piecing, I'm on more with my quilting, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
So a little tip when you're working on small pieces, you can starch. Always good
Nice,
to,
yes.
especially with half square triangles where you're working with the bias. So to starch will also help keep your piecing really nice and accurate. Another thing with pressing, and this is a personal thing for me, when I was learning patchwork and quilting, the first thing they teach you is about pressing the seam and then knocking the fabric over with the iron.
Yeah, with the
So
edge
you
of the
ju-
foot,
you know
yeah.
you just knock it
Knock it
over.
back.
Now with small pieces, this is super difficult because while I'm holding this, I'm going to burn my fingers for a start.
Don't do that.
It's really tricky, and also that pushing, especially on the bias, can really sort of push your squares out of kilter. So what I know some people might think it's a bit over the top, but I'm just going to stick my glasses on as well. As a predominant quilter rather than piecer, I also like to press all my seams open.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
So I press all my seams open to give me the flattest possible result when I come to
Okay.
quilt. So all I'm doing here, I've just pushed those seams apart, and it means that I can hold one end of the fabric and just with the tip of my fingernail and move my finger down, and it's not pulling the seam too much. So what you can do is you can do a couple like this. I am a bit injured today. I forgot I haven't mentioned. I stapled myself.
Oh no.
So I feel like I've got a cartoon. My middle finger feels like it's about this big.
How did you do that?
Yesterday, yeah, I was trying to staple something to mend it, and my middle finger was in the way.
Oh.
And it's really swollen, really throbbing, huge. I'm hoping it's not infected. That's the
I've
only
got
thing.
some dinosaur plasters I can offer you.
Oh, I don't know. It's not. It's just really like it's full. Like, can you see?
I can see, yeah.
It's really
Ooh,
angry.
Wow, it is angry.
So I do feel a bit, a bit fingers and thumbs.
Sarah Payne, I don't know if you know Sarah Payne, my friend Sarah, she managed to put a sewing machine needle through her finger
Oh,
and was then stuck because she couldn't get the needle back out.
yeah.
And was literally stuck to her machine.
I have actually had a student stitch through their finger once, actually, and it's not actually the stitching through your finger that you've got to worry about. It's
trying to get it out again.
fainting afterwards, actually.
Oh, is
You
it?
don't stand up
Oh, okay.
because you go, oh, look what I've done, and then keel over.
I have to say, Angie, it does look like you've got wings when you're standing there.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
We couldn't have placed those better, could we, if we tried this morning?
Brilliant. So when you press your seams open, can I have a little?
Yeah. That's right,
Yeah.
Becky's laughing at my dinosaur plasters. It's like, look,
I've just
mother of
pushed those
6-year-old.
open with my fingernails. You can see they're already, and it gives you a much flatter. You don't get that, if you don't press well, you get that little ridge on the top.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And what I do now with these is just take them to the pressing mat, put them in a little row, like ducks, and actually then you can just leave your iron. I actually just
leave it on there.
and then I'll get the next few ready.
Oh, nice.
You know
It's
what
going
I
to be
mean?
well pressed. by
Because
the
then
time
you're
you've done
not
that.
pushing
Yeah.
the fabric around. With small pieces, it's really
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
key not to push your seams out of kilter. So yeah, I'll just then pop my iron down, give them a little press. Pressing from the back as well, I think really helps. And then you can just make sure that they're nice and square. I'm just looking for my
You are in good
little
company
square.
because Jess Entwistle also presses her seams open.
Ah, yeah. I know it can be a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial.
Ooh.
Bit controversial. So when you're trimming your dog ears off as well, you can use the diagonal, use the 45 degree on your Creative Grids ruler.
Right.
So I'm lining up the 1.5 inch square. Make sure that the diagonal line, the 45 degrees, going right through your little 1.5 inch square, and then trim accordingly. And then you'll have a really beautifully... I've got to keep tidy now. Look, Tasha's had a big tidy up this morning. She's even given me a little pouch to put
I didn't quite manage to hoover though.
Droppings, my fabric droppings in. So that was quite easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've made our first little batch of half square triangles, and then there's just one other technique which you can use on squares and rectangles. So we've got a couple of those. I don't think I need to do any more. Okay.
Poor Jane's a bit squeamish. She had to mute us. It's safe. It's safe, Jane.
Oh, we're talking about needles and things. Ah, so another part of the process is to put. Let me show you on the pattern. Maybe where are we looking? Oh my God! I'm trying to look where it is.
Which bit are you looking for?
Oh, it'll be in here. So this is. Can we see? Yeah, we'll see. You probably can't see from there, but this is a square, and it's got a corner of red in each corner. So it's a cream background with two opposite corners.
Ah, nice.
Okay, so that's what we've got here. We've got a 2.5 inch square, and then we've got these little red 1.5 inch squares that we're going to put in the corner.
Show those in the... There you go.
Okay.
Ta-da!
There we go. So this is the background that's cut to 2.5 inches, I think, on the measurements. And then this little 1.5 inch square, can you see I've drawn a diagonal line? Yeah. So then we can position this in a corner the way that the diagonal line will go. Sorry, Tasha, I moved away a bit too soon.
That's all right.
That's it. So this is going across the corner that you want it to sit in. Okay, so I'm going to do that now.
So Beverly said that she made a quilt with thousands of 1.5 inch half square triangles and found it far better to press them open.
Yep.
She normally presses to the dark side.
Yep.
I have to say it like that. As soon as there's dark and side in a sentence, they just have to be said.
Absolutely.
Beverly would also like to know how big the print is. I think she's worried about her eyes for the pattern.
Oh, it is quite big actually. My patterns are usually, you know, I keep the print. I think it's about, if that means anything to you, the point size is 10.5 point.
Right.
But it is actually typefaces vary, so that is quite a big, it's quite a big typeface as well. So with this one, I'm not stitching a 1/4 inch away, I'm actually stitching on the line.
Okay, do you want to show that? I'll switch that across, there you go.
There you go.
On the line.
So this time I'm stitching on the line.
Do you do all of the pieces that you have to do 1/4 inch away from the line in one go? And then, because otherwise I would get myself confused.
No.
Do you switch?
It depends.
Do you mix and match?
It depends on the pattern. I think with this particular pattern, I've taken you through steps to make one block first.
Right.
So,
okay.
which I'll show you in a second, but we're making block A at the moment.
Okay.
And all the instructions up front in the pattern talk you through how to make all the bits for block A, including, like you say, if you're in a process, then it'll say make these as well and put them aside for block D or whatever.
Nice. Okay.
So it takes you through a whole process.
Very nice. Very nice.
So yeah, so it just leads you through. So you're not to-ing and throwing too much. But you're right, I haven't got a special 1/4 inch foot on. I've just got the regular foot on, and if you can find on your machine where you can switch from normal centre sewing to 1/4 inch, then that's really not a bother to switch between. So this one I've put one on each corner on this one. Can we see? I could just hold that up to the main camera.
There you go.
There we go. So put one on each side of this square, and now I'm just going to trim 1/4 inch away of each of those and then push those back. Okay. Let's do that.
So do you press these open as well?
Yep. I think if you're with a patchwork pattern that's like a repetitive design, like a regular patchwork pattern, you make a block and then it's repeated mostly throughout the quilt, so you know which way all the seams are going to go. With something like this, there are so many different angles going on at the back, that to work it out which way to press the seams as well would just be complete and actually pretty impossible, because with this pattern I've made it now 4 or 5 times with testing, and actually you couldn't make it work, do you know what I mean? So actually pressing open, although there are still some hefty ones where lots of different angles are coming together, it's nowhere near as bad as if you'd pressed to one side and then got like three angles coming together. So but it was when I started to quilt, actually I started to press open to get rid of bulk. But I do like the technique, as I say, for different reasons. It doesn't pull stuff out of kilter.
I'm giggling. I'm not giggling at you. I'm giggling at Ali, who says, "Good morning. Sorry I'm late. Got involved smarfing." It's been turned into a verb. Terribly sorry, officer. I was smarfing.
Excellent.
But yes, I also concur with everything you've just said.
And there we go. We've got a really neat little...
Do you want to show it? Go on. Treat yourself.
I'm just making you work, aren't I?
That's all right.
In between. So we've got the square there with nice sharp corners. Okay. Yeah. This one is it's got a number 13 on it, so we'll do that. I'm just going to make... I've got to do it in the other way round. I'm just going to do one with a little cream. A red background with a cream. Oh, sorry, I wasn't expecting you to do that one. So I'm just...
Basically, if you go near the machine with it, I'm going to swap angles.
You were on the ball there, and I wasn't expecting you to show that one. So I'm just going to make up the extra little bits I need to show the first block.
Oh, Ginny, bless her. She says, such a lovely, soothing way to spend the morning with 2 very talented ladies, all safely inside and supporting the creative companionship of Natasha's fan base, plus an emery board and hand cream, chasing away scary COVID thoughts. Thank you. Ginny, we just do what we love. It's as easy as that, really, isn't it, Angie?
It is. With them, try not to let things stop us.
Absolutely.
Is the hard thing, to do it safely. But this is great that we're able to do this, isn't it?
Oh, so nice.
So now I'm doing the same process, but on a rectangle. So I will show this if you like.
Go on then. Treat yourself.
So this is a small rectangle.
Yep.
And what can you see? I've put one way and one the other.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the instructions again will say make 3 of one angle and 3 of another. So while you're at it, you can pile them all up, and so you're not actually doing that many 1/4 inch. These are all sort of sewn straight on the pencil line, lined up beautifully. This is what I was saying with the grid glider, because you can just line the corner up with the angle of the grid glider. Because my Buds and Blooms quilt a couple of years ago had a lot of... I tend to work with small pieces, actually.
But it is your choice, because you are the designer.
Yeah. Well, that's why my last quilt that I designed for a magazine was actually, I on purpose made it bigger piecing. Because I was getting a bit of a reputation for these like little fiddly quilts. And also, when I was making Buds
I'd like to say intricate.
Intricate, yes. When I was making Buds and Blooms, my husband had broken his leg.
Oh gosh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That seemed to go on forever. I mean, it must have felt like more than forever for you, given
Well,
that you
that
were
was
living
when
with him.
when you mentioned boilers earlier, it made me twitch, because our
the
boiler
boiler
broke down, and he broke his leg in the
Everything broke.
beast from the east, and we ended up with a month without heating in some of the coldest temperatures that we've experienced in the last 10 years. And I had a husband with a broken leg, and I was up deadline to get Buds and Blooms made for a magazine deadline. So I got him to draw all the diagonal lines.
Well,
make yourself useful.
Absolutely.
Because he actually could get to the kitchen on crutches, but then
how would he carry anything back?
How do you do it? Unless
could you not just get him a thermos?
I needed to invest in a trolley, so we could
A trolley and a thermos.
push it along. I did get him a stool at one point so he could perch. Go to the kitchen and sit on a stool while he had
If it's
a
any
drink.
consolation, through lockdown, what a lot of parents did was basically create a packed lunch first thing in the morning and just say to their kids, like, right, this is your snack box for the day. When and how you choose to eat it is up to you. You could have done this for Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, this is your snack box. This is all you're getting. Here's your
Well,
thermos
also,
of tea.
the house was so cold, you see, that we had like a plug-in oil radiator, electric, in the lounge. So we were just trying to, I was dithering in my sewing room, and then we'd move the heater to the bedroom at night. So, well, in fact, the first few days we slept in the lounge.
Oh, you just got to,
You know, and then he decided he couldn't do that, so he shuffled up on his bottom.
Oh, bless
Was
him.
we're a 3-story house, and
Yeah. I mean, which is perfect for broken legs, right?
perfect for when you
I'd
break your
forgotten
legs.
the beast from the east.
I know.
I was
certainly don't want another one of those.
No, I was pregnant and trying to finish off my yoga teacher training course.
Oh,
And every weekend,
even
so I had a
know.
weekend a month in London on my yoga course, and every weekend that I went down there, it was the one that it decided to snow
I remember you were
and
doing
tried to
your
get back. Yeah.
yoga training. So I've just got a couple more of these to do, and then we'll start putting block A together, because then we can talk quilting.
Nice.
So yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to make the whole Stanley this morning. Pretty impossible. Although I will say he is a weekend make, believe it or not.
Is he?
He is.
In both sizes?
Yes.
Well, I guess it's the same. Well, I was going to say the same amount of sewing, maybe a little bit more thread.
So you can definitely cut and piece the wall hanging in a day, a long day, or just cut one day and piece in the next. I
Nice.
almost got the lap quilt cut and pieced in a day. I think I had to leave one border
Really?
off for the next day. So yeah, he's
not
not
bad.
he's not horrendous when it comes to making. You know, like some quilts take
This
months,
is what
don't
we
they?
do for our fun. He's not
it's like-
horrendous. It's okay, everyone.
Some quilts take like years, don't they? You know, it's quite manageable. Weekend.
Poor Stanley.
I'm really talking it up here, aren't I?
and horrendous should
An
never be
horrendous
in the
make.
same.
We do put ourselves through some stuff, don't we, for
You've got
our
all the
craft?
good, all the good sales patter there.
You know me. You know me.
I do. Chortling to myself.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed that you can't be up here pressing for me. Oh, there's my. I wondered where my unpicker had gone. It's rolled off.
Well, I can.
No, I'm
if you
just
want me to.
kidding.
I
I'm just
can
kidding.
shuffle over off to the side. No one will see.
We'll be safe. My husband started to teach last Monday. This will be his second day back teaching his art classes,
Oh, right.
mentoring his art classes, and first time back in the Centre of England Arts last Monday with his visor.
Oh God.
And he said he found it so it was fine for when he's talking, because I'm going to go back to workshop teaching next month.
Yeah.
And I've got my visor sorted and everything, but doesn't make it easy, does it? But he said his students were so chuffed to be back.
Oh.
But he found it very difficult to look at their artwork.
Yeah,
he
of
was
course.
like looking up. He said, I kept looking out. I said, well, that kind of defeats the object, love.
But it's like varifocals when you first wear varifocals.
Yes.
Apparently, I'm still in glass denial.
Yeah, they. Some people never get used to them.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. My
You
mum,
know.
my mum struggled to get used to them, but she did. Ali wants to put some buttons on for his eyes.
Oh yes.
That would be
Well, actually,
nice.
that you could do. I thought with this one, he's got a little bit of leaf in his eye that made him look like a little pupil, and this one not. So I didn't plan that very well. You could fussy cut a little bit better.
You could do anything.
And I have
you
to
like.
say, on the Liberty one with the berries, you got berries and mistletoe in this
Nice.
fabric, which is gorgeous. But I found out, because I didn't fussy cut it, because it was a bit like, get this made. One side of his nose was really red, and the other side was only a little bit red.
Well, maybe he's just blown his nose.
So I cheated a bit and coloured them in.
Did you?
Yeah, with a little fabric
You'd
pen.
never know.
because you've got white mistletoe berries one side, so I just coloured a few berries
never
in.
know.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
The other thing that I thought was to get a little scrap of red velvet.
You could, yeah,
And do his nose in red velvet.
the nose can be anything from your scraps, really. I mean, if you're going for one of the more contemporary looking bundles, you could even put a bit of like cafe, or if you've got a little bit of cafe scraps from your smarfs.
Ali says that your husband needs a smarf.
Whose husband?
Your
I know.
And a pair of safety goggles.
I need the time to make it.
I mean, it's a look, isn't it?
Yeah. Last week was all for Stanley making. So, yeah. So now I'm going to go through making one of the blocks for you. If I can just show this, please, Tash.
Yeah.
Just to show the detail in the pattern. So here on the pattern, this is how I've broken it down for you. So in the cutting instructions, remember we showed you that they'd all got either numbers or icons.
Yeah.
So here, this is the cutting, this one is the cutting layout. And you can see there that all the little numbers refer to all the bits that you've cut out.
Right.
Okay, so here where we've got a number, a 1 and a 13 with the little, can you see the squares with the corners?
Yeah.
We've just made those.
Cool.
And then this is the piecing layout. So I've broken it down into different blocks. So you've got a block A, a block B, C is one big block in the middle, and then you've got D and E. So I take you through each of these blocks, and the ones on the other side are just in reverse, in mirror. Okay, so I take you through all of the left-hand ones, and you just make 2 at the same time, 1 in mirror. Okay, so we're going to assemble block A, if that's, so we take a piece of 15 and a piece of 10. Now this is where you have to pay attention, ladies, to get your angles the right way round. I have to say, every Stanley I've made a little mistake.
Have you?
Yeah. So don't beat yourselves up, basically, if you do make a mistake. Yeah, I have. I needed to unpick a little bit that's the wrong way. So I'm going to leave that under the machine and stitch together 13 and 1.
What was I going to say? Rachel's just asked how sausage is settling in. So
Aww.
I do need to explain who sausage is for those that don't know. And yes,
gorgeous.
Elizabeth, this pattern is clever. So a couple of years ago, just before I had Emily, Freddie's pony died very suddenly of a tumour. We had no idea that poor Danny had a tumour. And yeah, he went downhill in the course of the day, and that was it. So, and Freddie hasn't really wanted to be around the horses since. There were so many tears. Oh, it was my best friend, and it was just too heartbreaking.
Aww.
And then, 3 weeks ago, we had to have our 30-something-year-old pony put to sleep, Poppy. They live to a good old age here, generally.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are quite old now, and so. Nature abhors a vacuum, right? So a friend of mine that does all their teeth said, what you need is sausage. And I'm like, I don't really know what you're talking about, but okay. And her friend's daughter had just outgrown a small miniature Shetland called Sausage.
Saw him on the
Yeah.
picture.
So Sausage arrived. Sausage arrived at the weekend, which happened to coincide with Captain Small's birthday. Someone suggested that we call him Sergeant Sausage, so that Sergeant Sausage can report for duty with Captain Small. But actually, the person who's utterly adoring him right now is Freddie, because
Oh, really?
he's set up obstacle courses for him. He's basically been doing pony agility with him all over the weekend. That's
nice that he's got over that. It's helped him get over that.
Yeah.
He's obviously through that, the trauma.
It's taken him a long time. It has taken him a long time, and you can't push it because the other horses are too big. Whilst Emily's really happy
Excuse me.
to sit on It's all right.
When the machine does the cutting, it's
Yeah,
like
no, I know you keep forgetting, don't you? It's all right.
noisy.
So yeah, whilst Emily's happy sitting on my big boy, my big horse, you know, it's too much for Freddie. He finds him too big.
Oh.
So yeah, sausage has arrived, is settling in.
Oh.
And
He looked amazing. It just looked gorgeous.
well,
and
yeah.
like we'd seen them both.
I have to tell you, Angie, Eric, our Great Dane, is bigger. I mean, he is super tiny. But when Anna brought him, he had all of his ribbons in his hair and everything.
saw.
Yeah, she did, because he came on Emily's birthday.
And
Although-
round his hooves.
Around his hooves and his tail, everywhere.
Gorgeous. Well, when you said that you'd got ducks, I was like, as if you haven't got enough to do, lady.
Oh, I know. These are the rescue ducks, though. They're just starting to get a little bit braver. I think they must have been kept in barns or something, because they're really worried about coming out of their duck house.
Ah.
Really worried. Like, daylight is quite a scary thing for them. So they're getting there.
Right. Well, we're going to see a little bit of piecing going together now.
Awesome.
Let me just show you. The nice thing about this pattern as well is that there's not actually that many pieces to match. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, so because you're going to have an angle next to it, you know,
Yeah.
you're not matching all those seams and lots of pinning. The only time that I would suggest you pin is when you start to put longer bits together.
Oh, okay.
Because if you end up, this is block A, B, and then you've got D and E down here. When you start to put sort of some of the ones across, or especially these long ones, actually,
Yeah.
that's the only time when you start pinning. And there's one seam that runs across here that actually then I would say press that one way and these two,
That
because
way.
you make it in 3 downward panels.
Wow.
So that's the only one when I'd say press one way, and you know, like you would
Yeah.
traditionally to get those to sit, is that one across there, which you'll see I've highlighted it in red as well. But we're just making this little antler section here, and as I say, there's not much to match. Can I just show this?
Yeah.
Tash?
You see, it's those sort of details being in the pattern that just, this is what you're paying for,
Yeah.
is the fact that this has been made several times.
So this is the one square with the one corner, and then this was the other square with the 2 red in the corner, and I've just whizzed those together, and look, they've just, you know, I've not taken too much care here. I'm on a machine I don't know very well, so I'm not being super precise. This is it on the back with it all pressed open, and actually when you are piecing, when it's pressed open, you do get these little diagonal triangles when you're piecing that you can actually, when you're coming to stitch through your 1/4 inch, you can actually hit those triangles when you come
Okay.
to match your piecing.
Yeah.
And then this bit is going to go on the end of here. In a second, I'm just going to attach these two now. And then we will
Nice.
have, usually I get one little corner triangle the wrong way round when I'm piecing these, and actually I'll show you in a second, because as people that know me know that I rarely unpick. You know.
Elizabeth says it's important to keep the unpicking businesses in, going.
Absolutely. I rarely unpick.
We are supporting many an industry
It has
here,
to
and
be really, really, crucial for me to unpick. Wobbles in my quilting, I'm quite happy to leave. I want my work to look like it was, I don't want it to look like it's come off an embroidery machine for me. So I don't mind little wobbles. Natasha's saying, I don't want a wobble in my Stephanie.
I didn't have to make it, so I will take anything I'm given. I'm very happy to have a wobbly Stephanie. That sounds wrong. If you've just joined us, hi. Welcome to the Wobbly Stephanie Hour.
Here I've just stitched a little, one of the teeny half square triangles onto a long rectangle. Again, that's all explained in the pattern with your pattern numbering. And just pressing these all open. So there we've got that block.
Oh, hang on.
There.
Oh, is this part of the ear?
So this will be
antlers.
an angle going up to the antler.
Nice.
And there you can see all the seams on the back all sit
That's very
nicely
smart.
together. So I think we're almost there actually. We've got, that's one full strip, and then this is going to go.
It's like a jigsaw, isn't it?
Yep. And that's the only thing really. The piecing, as I said, is really, really simple techniques. It's actually just, you need to pay attention when you come to put them together, and some of the, just making sure you've got your little, those angles of the triangles going in the right direction. I did have one on the lap quilt that I'd got, not just the block together, but I'd attached it to another block before I realised that I'd got one of my little triangles the wrong way around, and it was crucial because it was his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So they were completely
kind of the focal point, isn't it?
Completely in the wrong place.
Ali's enjoying your ironing technique.
Well, I get a lot of repetitive strain injuries as well. I'm prone to
You're a delicate flower, aren't you?
Just years of being a graphic designer, I think, do it with a mouse and keyboard action.
Okay,
so
yeah.
hands and shoulders and elbows, I have to be really careful these days. So I'm a bit getting a bit old. So the less I'm lifting and pushing an iron, if I can just pop it on,
then you will.
Then I will, yeah, definitely.
Have you gone back to running?
I have. You know, lockdown has helped me get me back into my running routine. Because I used to run, and then I got really busy, and you know, life gets in the way, and I was just out on the road so much, and then I broke my ankle.
Oh yeah, you did. Did you
the same year?
That was the same year as the Beast from the East. And
Wayne did it in March, and I did it at Harrogate in November. I jumped out the back of the van on setup day.
Oh, that was it, on setup day, wasn't it? I remember.
So, and then I hadn't run since I'd broken my ankle again.
Gosh.
So in lockdown, I started running for it's really good for mental health for me, you know. So I started running, and I took up yoga.
Good on you.
So
good on
now
you.
we've just got this little bit to go on the bottom of here, and then we've made block A. But yeah, I'm really really enjoying it. And I live on the Birmingham, well, it's actually the North Stratford Canal, but it's in
Birmingham.
So I live in South Birmingham, so it goes into the Birmingham Worcester. But it's just, I feel so lucky to be, I live in such an urban area, but to have such green space right on my doorstep.
You're proper Peaky Blinders territory, aren't you?
My husband's he's so many generations, because his family were from Garrison Lane, which is he's a proper Peaky Blinder, yeah.
Wow.
I'm actually not, because I'm Black Country, he's a proper Brummie, and Peaky Blinders are Brummies, not Black Country. So.
No, that's just it, and they make that point in the show, didn't they?
He gets very annoyed with the Black Country Museum, or making a big thing about the Peaky Blinders, because it's, you know, the Black Country people and Brummies are, you know, Black Country people are very keen to say, I'm not a Brummie. Unless the Peaky Blinders.
There is a difference in the accents.
Can I just show this?
Yeah.
There is a difference in the accent. So when you're stitching with your seams open, can you see, I just wanted to show this little triangle here. Can you see this little triangle where I've pressed a seam back? But it gives me my 1/4 inch. So as I've sewn this 1/4 inch seam across, I've been able to just hit that point.
Ah, nice.
So it does help you, you know, with because you might think, oh, how am I going to get my seams nice and accurate?
That way. That's how you're going to do it.
That's how you do it.
Very good.
And okay, it does take, you know, maybe a little bit of time to just, you know, finger press them open. But I just prefer pressing from the back as well, as the initial first press.
Oh, Pam says that you broke your ankles within a few days of each other. Hers was Halloween shopping for pumpkins. Damn those pumpkins.
Wow, so she couldn't carry them back.
I like that is the practical approach that you take. Yeah, somebody else would have had to have carried those, and possibly Pam. Talking of Pams, now you see my mother-in-law, we call her Glam Pam, because she's not 5 foot. She's tiddly tiny, and which means that she always wears these whopping great big heels. hence we always call her Glam Pam. Well, I do. And how she's never broken her ankle teetering about in her Jimmy Choos, I have no idea.
I could say the same about my mum, actually. My mum, I didn't realise quite how glam and, yeah, she's quite, you know, totally opposite to me. I'm all for comfort, me, in my flats. When I say to my mum, do you fancy going for a walk? And she'll put like her heels on to go down the canal, you know, down the towpath. And then be like teetering along, bless her.
You need to get to some of those wellies.
I know she won't be watching online if it. In fact, she's out with her friend Pam, I think, this morning. They're allowed because they're not in Birmingham.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Here we have, this is block A.
Oh, fab.
So you can see the angle of the antler coming there. And you would just make another one. I'd suggest you make the exact same A right, if you like.
Yeah.
Make it as you go in mirror, because as you're laying all the bits out, then it's much easier to then go back and try to do it all over again. So I just want to show you on, which one was it? This one, I think. Was it this one? No, not that one. Let me find my other one.
It turns out Pam is actually Superwoman. She said she still had to buy the pumpkins and got them back to the car because she didn't want to disappoint the grandkids.
Oh,
Bless you.
On this one, I actually got his antlers the wrong way round.
Oh, did you?
Can you see the tips of his antlers?
Oh, yeah.
That's the only one I hadn't realised till he was fully made and quilted.
Too late then, isn't it?
Too late till I come to quilt him. So yeah, these little bits are the wrong way around. So it's only really, yeah, I had to unpick this one because that was his eyes.
He could have been winking at you. Or a bit squinty.
Exactly.
We could have sent him off to Specsavers.
No, I think that, yeah, the eye, it just didn't work anyway. I couldn't leave that one. If we can go back in here, Tash, that would be great.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
I was just reading messages as well. Claire said, would this look just as good in huge squares, maybe 3-inch finished or even bigger?
Yeah, you can obviously, you know, scale him up. Yeah, if you want to do. I did think actually the lap quilt one with a bigger border on and something top and bottom would make like a single bed quilt.
Oh yeah, nice.
As well. So you could, you know, do something just top and bottom to frame it and make a slightly bigger board, add a bigger border and scale it up. So this might make a bit more sense now I've made that. But we've gone.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we were pointing at him.
So yeah, here's the block A. So this is this block here that we've just made, and there's all the little bits that we've just talked through, all the numbered bits. So yeah, if you join block A and B together, there's that seam right across there that I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
That's the only one. So I'd put this together and put them down in strips, and when you're joining the two halves, I would just press these two one way and that one the other way.
Awesome.
Okay. So I think that's all my piecing tips anyway. So it was mostly about pressing.
Well, and we have enjoyed that. Elizabeth says that she used to walk her GSD, so German Shepherd, I would imagine, in stilts on the Malvern Hills in my lunch break. Then there were all these people with alpine sticks and rucksacks. Should be there teetering along. And Jane's boss has just approved her week's holiday, so the laptop is now unplugged and the sewing machine is plugged in.
Oh,
nice! That's not cutting it fine at all, is it?
Very good, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so
what's next, Ange?
If you're making him as a cushion, as I said, you can stop.
Oh, it's a big cushion.
At the inner. You could stop at the inner. It's 18 inches, that's regular.
Oh.
But yeah, you can.
Oh, I was gonna floor cushion him up.
You can floor cushion him up.
Yeah.
But you can stop there if you know, for a regular cushion.
Yeah.
When we've added the two borders. Another thing that's big, I realised a bit of a signature of mine. I always put a little ditty. I like a little accent border.
No,
most of my quilts have got like a little half-inch little border in there. This has got. Then I've added little wall hanging. Some people have got those beautiful hangers, you know, with the. They're They can be like sewing machines.
Oh,
or,
yeah, with like the raw tiny bits at the end.
That's
They're very
right.
fancy
Wood,
schmancy.
yeah, fancy wall hanging things.
I think we tried to sell them on Sewing Quarter once and no one bought them.
But
so,
if not,
they didn't bother again.
I tend to just fold a little square of fabric in half to make a little triangle. Put yourself a little triangle pockets in the corners, and then you can just use a little bit of battoning. Put a baton across, put a couple of holes in it with string, and then it'll keep it nice and rigid.
When you say battoning, do you actually mean garden cane from the greenhouse?
Well, I tend to use something a bit flatter than that.
Oh, do you? Where do you get battoning from then?
You know, like just at B&Q when they've got the whole area with lots of trim.
Oh, but that.
And it's you can get one that's flat on one side and slightly rounded on the top.
Oh, fancy.
Excuse me, I've got a frog. Just looking at the gorgeous tree colour in your garden
I know,
out
I know.
there. I love this time of year.
It's been really well planted. I know nothing about gardening, but I know that this has
That's
been really well
lovely.
planted.
Just going to get a bit of water.
No, you go for it. You go for it.
Excuse me.
So next up, we are going to look at the
Quilting.
which means westerly, doesn't it? Yeah, good job, good job.
Well,
doweling is good for hangers.
what's this, sorry?
Doweling is good for hangers.
Yeah, that's round as well though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you can any kind of doweling or bamboo cane, any little bit of wood.
It would
really.
stop my children trying to fence
Because it
with
stops
the bamboo cane.
collapsing.
Not gonna lie, that's what happens.
Oh dear. So yeah, we'll move on to the quilting. One of the things that I really wanted to do with this pattern, as I do with tend to do with all my quilting patterns, when I write for magazines, they will not allow me to mention westerly anyway. Even if I write it up into the write-up, they remove it before it's published.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, how rude! Why?
So what I have done in the last couple of magazine patterns I've written is actually just write why I chose the shapes and why it's quilted that way, so that you could do it by hand or free motion.
Right.
And so, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I hate that at the end of a pattern where it just says quilt as desired. So what I've tried to do with Stanley, you've got two sizes of cutting, so he's really versatile. But I've given you several. There's 3 actually illustrated, but then he can actually just be simply cross-hatched. I've given you lots of ideas for quilting, depending on what tools. So obviously this doesn't need to be just westerly rulered. The friend that I showed it to the other day, she's a hand quilter. So you could actually hand quilt it quite easily.
It's not too big, is it, for hand quilting?
Exactly.
Mind you, hand quilters seem to be pretty speedy at it. So I think I always look at it from my point of view that actually it might not take me forever, but hand quilters hand quilt because they're quick at it.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got that rocking
They've
technique.
got it going on.
So what I've tried to do here, the pattern suggests it can be cross-hatched. So that can be vertically and horizontally or across the diagonal. You could just cross-hatch him and keep him really simple.
I would quite like to echo quilt him. Ooh,
yeah, so nice this particular design is in the pattern, and this just uses straight lines, all straight lines and one curve. So this is, if you are a westerly user, I'm trying to look for this only uses the starter ruler, the ruler that your foot comes with.
Yeah.
But if you're not a westerly quilter, then you could actually do this just with a walking foot.
Oh, nice.
Really simple. Yeah. Because if I show you from the back.
Do you want to go close up to that?
This is called Stars and Trees.
Oh, wow.
So all I've done is echo around. This is the most complicated. There's 2 different head quilting ideas as well. So this one has got a lot of structure in there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it this complicated. This is just the way my head works. So,
in a complicated way, clearly.
Yeah. So you can either quilt his face that complicated with more angles in, but the Liberty one is actually less complex. And then we've got just some very modern triangles for trees at the bottom, which I've echoed actually, there's actually a bit of silver thread in there as well. And then we've got these stars hanging like baubles from the top.
You are clever.
So yeah, all straight lines. So you could actually do this. This is achievable, isn't it, with a walking foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
And again, yeah, you can just echo inside Stanley, which I'll show you on the other one. But this one is just got a few more angles going on there.
Wow.
Okay, so I wanted it to appeal to, you know, a broader audience, that they, you know, it doesn't have to be finished with westerly rulers.
So Pam says that it's beautiful quilting, but it's a bit scary for her.
Yeah.
Then just echo round it. Just go 1/4 of an inch round the outside of him.
This face is literally, I'm not a fan of in the ditch personally.
No.
I think it kind of, people forget it's quite difficult to do well.
Yeah.
So it stresses people out when they're new. So people new to quilting always just go, oh, I'll just stitch it in the ditch. When actually that's quite difficult.
Yeah.
So you are much better either echoing it or just stitch slightly in.
Yeah.
And I always think if you're stitching in the ditch, it disappears. So you've put all that effort into quilting not to see it. And so I'm a big fan of showing your quilting.
I think that is the reason, though, that when you start...
Yeah, people want to disguise it.
Yeah, just in case it goes a bit wobbly.
Let's
have a look at this one.
This one is just stitched just inside, which makes it pop a little bit more. So it's literally just a millimetre or so in.
Oh, it really does pop, doesn't it?
It makes it pop more than in the ditch, I think, personally. And then there's literally just a little bit of, can you see the angles?
Giving him a nose.
A little nose, and coming from his antlers ears, yeah, up there.
Susan says it's lovely to see the quilting close up. Well, it is an art form with Angie. She's a bit good
Let me show you on the back, because then you can see how much more simple that. You can see his eyes.
Hang on. You've got some trees there going on as well.
Yeah, we're going to come on to the trees in a second. He's got like bindi, lovely bindi.
Oh wow, gosh.
Baubles. So yeah, the pattern includes, let me show you, a grid. So the quilting designs are drawn up on a grid. So you can easily work out where to put your pointers.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
So you'd be able to count in roughly, okay, that's 1, 2, 2.5 inches, put a little mark there to stitch to, even with a walking foot, to be able to follow that around. And then
if you don't have a westerly ruler, you can still quilt this beautifully.
Yeah, you can still quilt this beautifully. And if you're into free motion, you could echo even stuff that's, I was thinking of the Liberty, you could actually have done a few berries with a bit of mistletoe, you know what I mean, shape and things like that, if you're into free motion. But these are, I've suggested here with the templates, you can see the suggestions with the templates. But again, it does give you scope to do it by hand or with a walking foot.
Look at that, wow.
So that's the straight line one. So it's got all the grid there with the measurements for you to work out. So I did just want to show you as well an easy way to do the stars. First of all, is that okay?
Yeah, always okay.
So, actually I'll just, let me grab some fabric. So when I need to get my, sorry Tash, I need to get my crosshair.
That's all right.
I'll have to switch over to the westerly foot in a second as well.
Now, what have you bought for us westerly wise?
So we had these last time, they were quite new. So we've got the mini crosshair
these ones,
set.
yeah, they were good.
Yeah. So these were really good value for getting 3 different crosshair squares. So you're getting a 5-point, a 6-point and an 8-point crosshair square. So to be able to make the star shape, we basically need to draw, is it an 8-pointed or a 6-pointed? 8-pointed crosshair. And then we've got
that close so people can see, because it's a bit
what,
see-through.
the star or the crosshair?
Just so that people can see what those are.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So this one's a 6-point. So that's the 8-point. Sorry. So that would be your 45-degree templates. This one's a 5, so that's like 72, I think, isn't it? And 6 is 60-degree ones. So they make it really quick and easy to divide your fabric into those degrees, ready to do.
Yeah,
your
really
quilting.
handy.
Really
Actually,
handy.
I think anyone needs those that does any sort of pattern of anything, whether you've got westerly rulers or not.
Yeah.
I think they're really handy.
So when I came to quilt this, we've got a 3-inch star here, 2-inch stars and little 1-inch stars. And I started to draw it up, obviously, with my crosshair. So let me get my... You would need to put the crosshair ruler on there. And then we would mark... I've got it the wrong way around. I've put the measurements in the pattern as well. So the measurements to give you your inner point measurement and your outer point measurement are all listed in the pattern.
And that's what I mean by when you buy an Angie pattern, all of this extra work that's gone on. She didn't have to. She could have just gone with the quilt as desired. But no, it's all in there for you. So that's why we would ask that you buy one each and you don't share the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. When I come to do obviously this many stars, I realise that every time I'm having to draw this crosshair and 16 different markings on there. It was quite laborious to do.
But looks great.
Sorry?
But looks great.
It looks great, yeah. But I found a really quick solution to be able to do it. So basically, I drew it on paper. So this is for the 2-inch one. So there's my crosshair drawn. So I've still used my mini crosshair, do you see?
Yeah.
That's the centre. Obviously, that's my measurement for the outside, which is for a 2-inch star. We mark 1 inch and half an inch away. So these are half an inch away from the middle and 1 inch away from the middle.
That's so clever.
And that's what you'd be marking each time on your fabric.
Yeah.
What I've done here is got an old needle and poked a hole through it.
Oh, clever.
And this is like a thicker papery card.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just punched through. There's the holes. So literally now I can position this on my fabric where I want it and push my pen through the holes to make the dots. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then I'm not marking all of the crosshair each time and having to do all those measurements over and over again. I just position this, and again, if you do it off like that, you can line it up with wherever you want it, and then you're just left with then the dots, and then you stitch dot to dot.
Nice.
But it makes it really easy to...
Yeah, Elizabeth says that when you show how the quilting is achieved, it takes all the mystery out of it. She says you're very clever.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I just thought that is such a fab way of doing it. Then I did a little test with a really diddy one, which was just too small. So I upped. This is the part of the testing. Yeah, my little 1-inch star I decided was too small. So this is 1 1/4 and made all the difference.
That 1/4 of an inch.
But you can see there I've actually drawn dot to dot how it makes up the star.
Nice.
But again, if you do it on a little bit of paper or card, and then you can... it's a bit like they used to do that with pounce, like chalk, hadn't they? You know, you'd chalk something and it would put like like stenciling.
Yeah.
So you're basically doing that.
Yeah, you can do that with Jacobi paper, couldn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Couldn't you? But
anything
also,
that will
if you
transfer.
if you don't have an old needle or whatever, just use your tailor's awl to make
Yeah,
the hole.
anything like that. I've always got old needles for if you're stitching like paper piecing or whatever, and they get thick. You know, the thick bit towards the end.
Oh yeah.
I just prodded something like that through to make a bigger hole.
Very good.
Okay, so what I've tried to do is, as I said, one with straight lines that anybody can do.
Oh, you're just leaning it on the iron.
Oh, that's all right. We haven't melted. We haven't melted a Stanley yet. No, Stanley was harmed in the making program. So I've done one with straight lines that anybody could do with a walking foot. And then Natasha's Liberty one I've done with the sampler set. So some of you that use Westerly...
Do you want to get him down?
Shall we go him down?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
It's only held up by my box of cake. There we go.
So if you have the sampler set, or if you're a bit more sort of, what's the word, if you've got a bit more experience with some free motion, then he has clamshells at the bottom.
Of course he does.
Because it's like he's in the shrubbery.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
And he's got little earrings hanging off his antlers like there. Some little circles.
Oh, and of course you get bells in the kit with the little one, don't you?
So you can bling these guys up as much as you like, and then some bigger circles here. So he's made with the sampler set. And again, the borders, I've suggested different patterns with the borders sometimes. So this one's got like little bows.
Oh my
or
goodness.
Sweeties, little sweeties.
Oh, sweeties.
Across there, and then just little circles, little rows of circles down the outside in trees. Okay.
Oh wow! I love that your quilting tells a story, you
Oh,
know, rather than just being
to
like
plan it out.
grids across, which is kind of what I would end up doing.
I'm after my echo.
See, Margaret says, "Happy Monday, loving Angie's tricks and tips. Such a clever lady." And Christine says that she's just bought the pattern, the kit, and the grippy slider thing, but I'll never manage the quilting there. Never say never. No. You don't know. You might get Angie's pattern and go, actually.
I have a cushion, a Stanley cushion that's just cross-hatched, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
anything works.
He will still look fab because
Because he does.
Because he does. And also, if you like on the plain fabric, obviously, you'd want something a bit more going on. But if you choose, a fussy fabric for the background, then you don't have to. Your quilting doesn't have to be so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be far more simpler. So I don't think we brought these to you before. So we have.
Oh, hang on. There you go. There you go. Have a little
new
close up.
thing. So when I was designing with the sampler set, with the circles, in the sampler set you've got a 3-inch clamshell, so that makes your 3-inch circle. You have the 2-inch circle, but to make smaller ones, like the smaller ones I've used, you can also basically these are echo guides. So these fit on the foot.
Do you want to show? There we go.
I'm just trying to wonder how I can show them actually. They've got a little pink bit of tape on of mine. So we have a 1/2 inch. There you go. There's a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch with the 0.75 on, and a whopping 1 inch. And it's got the hole cut out in the middle. So these push onto your foot. That allows you to echo quilt any shape. So you can either, on the outside of a template, obviously you can use it along the outside or the inside of a template. So my 2-inch circle, if I put this on the foot, it will make it a smaller circle, a different size. So you're getting more for your money out of your template. More bang for your buck. Yeah. Amazing. And even if you're free motion quilting, like you could echo 1 inch around Stanley without having to measure it, because you just keep the edge of this.
Oh, that's clever.
Up to the edge of the foot. So, Tasha, I'm just going to switch over to the
Can we
foot.
see that?
Yeah, because I'm just going to do, and then I've got the new template set that I'm dying to share with you.
Christine said this is so much more than your run-of-your-mill quilting pattern. Absolutely, and that's, that's Ange, isn't it? I'm loving this morning, says Anne. Angie's so clever. Love the quilting ideas. Yeah, you see, she's a clever bunny.
Oh, well, that's what I do. I do try, when people say that all the time, don't they, about quilting patterns, when it just, like, quilters decide, it's a bit annoying. But I get, because in a magazine, if I was to have to write up how to quilt a project, whether it be by hand or whatever, you take the whole magazine.
Yeah. How
many pages have I got? It would be,
So Karen says, does that the foot come in high and low shank? Yes, and medium shank and high shank special.
The echo guides are just one thickness.
Oh, are they?
Yes, the echo guides are just generic.
The echo guides, yeah, but the feet come in different sizes, don't they? Yeah,
they do. So let me just set my foot up. So I'm just popping this. We've just taken the whole foot holder. If you've not seen Westerly before, you might have some new people who haven't seen it before. And what I'm doing, I'm setting the height here, so it's just allowing my fabric to just move freely, but it's as close as possible. So we've just got that nice and tight.
So if you are ordering a Westerly foot from us for the first time, so if you're buying the starter one, then please do let us know the make and model of your machine. If you forget to, we will email you and ask you.
Yeah, we do. It's
and that way, so we don't expect you to know if your machine is high or low shank. I really should have said that a bit earlier on, shouldn't I?
It's imperative.
So don't worry
for us
about
to
that.
know.
We have a list, and we will then make sure that you get the appropriate one.
So
And if you've already bought a westerly, then you'll know whether or not it's a high or a low shank because you'll have already bought the starter.
yeah, you'll know what
There
you
we go.
have. Because I've been using my scissors, I've got no tail, so I'm just trying to bring up my bottom thread here. So I've got a long tail, there we go. Oh, can you see I've pushed the Echo, you can see now the Echo guide on there.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And when you've pushed it on, just make sure it's again sitting, because sometimes when you push it on, it's clamping the fabric. So again, you just make sure that it's pushed up. And then just bringing up that bottom, did I get it? There. And then we're ready to go. Just do a little, okay. So let me show you, for instance, here we go, 2-inch circle. And let's make it a completely different size circle with the Echo foot on.
Oh, that's very clever.
I love the Echo guides because they just make it make your templates go further.
Now, feed dogs are down.
I was just thinking that actually because it feels like it's gripping a little bit.
Oh, no, you haven't. Yeah, it's just underneath to the left.
I thought I had.
Did you?
Yeah, I think they don't. Anyway, so there's a, lift that out. There we have a 2-inch circle, but then we've been able to stitch a 1-inch circle because I had the half-inch.
Oh, clever.
The half-inch Echo foot on. And you'd be able to use them on the outside. They're brilliant on the outside of a, you know, like the starter set, whatever, the starter ruler, whatever I've done with that. Here it is. So just for simply echoing a shape, they're just as easy to use on the outside. They just work really well. So instead of that just giving me a 1/4 inch echo, it's now giving me 1/2 inch echo without having to think too much about it. So they're absolutely brilliant. Highly recommended as a little addition to your Westerly toolkit. I'm going to leave the little one out because I might just show you.
Am I right in saying that most machines are low shank? Like most are.
The majority, like for instance, all Genomes right up until the Memory Craft, I think 6600 is low shank, and then from that model onwards it would be high shank.
Tracy's got a TXL 607.
Low.
So that's a low shank.
Most normal sized bodied machines will be low shank. You really start to only get high shank when you get into wider throated machines. Most of the brothers are low shank. This Jukie's low shank, but your big boy is high shank.
Yeah.
So.
But then that's a £3,000 machine.
Yeah,
so you know, once you get into the high end of stuff, then you start going okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I need to show you the new template set before we run out of time again. So
you see, Susan says it's really nice to have someone showing how freely the fabric should move for free motion quilting.
Did I hint a bit of sarcasm in there?
No. I think she's being
freely
genuine.
It should be.
Yeah. And Lynn says that she bought a sample kit 2 years ago, still unused because I can't get the hang of consistent stitches. This makes me want to have another go. Do have another go.
Excellent.
And the thing is that nobody minds. It is just having a go, isn't it? It's just practice makes perfect.
And slow, just keep everything. People, I think because I came from free motion embroidery, which the machine is most of the time thundering away at high speed and you're drawing with stitch in every direction.
Yeah.
And so when I first came to ruler work, free motion head on, feed dogs down, thundering away really fast. I loved the rulers straight away. They just, they were right up my street in every way. But then I soon realised all I was achieving was tiny little stitches, because you're not actually, unless you're moving the fabric really fast, you don't need to stitch really fast. So I just found a rhythm that suits me. I like that just chuggy, 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 chuggy rhythm, and then I'm able to maintain my stitch length. So you're not actually moving the fabric very far or quickly, so slow everything down, slow your speed down on your machine, if that helps, if you have a speed dial. And just, I call it civilised quilting, as lots of you know, because we don't like to get stressed. And, there you go. So I have to share with you, while I was designing Stanley, as we said, we could have brought him to you earlier in the year, while I was quilting him, because of this whole thing with me wanting to bring as much quilting inspiration. Because I know from when I teach, often people say that they're not creative, but I've seen it with my students. If I give them a gem of an idea, just the starting point of an idea, then they'll roll with it.
Of course.
And I find that all the time. So I'm hoping that this pattern will do that for you, whether you ruler quilt or not. It will just give you some ideas about how to quilt him and the confidence to have a go.
Well, that's just it. Karen says that she's always used Pars rulers, but the Westerlies give you even more options. So
they do.
Fabulous.
Because the Pars, you're trapped in a groove, and so you wouldn't have been able to do what I've just done and make a template multi-use. You can only stitch what it's designed for. So while I was designing the quilting patterns, I knew I wanted to do something just with straight lines, and then I knew I'd do something with the sampler set, because there's a lot of people out there with the sampler set, so that was lovely. And I knew that the circles would look just fab with all the looking like baubles almost, aren't they, like on the Liberty one. And then it popped into my head, so some of you will be aware of Houston Quilt Market that's held in America every year, and it's where a lot of new things come out. I was supposed to be flying there on Wednesday this year. I was going for the first time. And yes, unfortunately, I'd already decided I didn't want to go anywhere near Houston, with they're struggling over there a little bit more than we are. But yeah, it has been cancelled anyway. But at Houston last year, this template set was launched, and because it was even later last year, it's normally November time. So then by the time the Westerly importers have bought it at the fair and actually got it here, it's kind of too late for Christmas for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. By the time you get it over.
So we didn't actually bring this into the UK last year. We just didn't bother importing this design. But it popped into my head because it has some beautiful, beautiful shapes in it. So basically,
how would you like to show this then? Oh, let's swap it. There we
Let's
go.
show you the quilting first. So, do you see my trees?
Oh yeah.
So I've got some lovely trees. So the middle one with its little short stem is actually the template.
Right.
How it stitches out. Then I've stitched it to the ground without a little trunk, and I've also made the trunk taller.
Nice.
There. So the tree is a lovely part of the template set, and then do you see these lovely sort of, they're called stepping stones in the template set, but they're kind of like the shapes you get in lovely kind of tiles, you know.
Yes, beautiful.
I mean, they just work lovely as baubles, but I think they're really super versatile. You get the little star. We've just been doing little stars, you know, drawing them out, but you get the little stars, and you also get diddy circles. Okay, so I've got to show you this. This came into my head that this would just be perfect for Stanley. So this is Donna McCauley. So when So Steady, Westerly sold their company to So Steady last summer, and So Steady allow us, like I could if I, you know, and I hope I might do in the future, I'm allowed now to design templates if I want to. So this lady, Donna McCauley, has been bringing out her own template sets. So this is her DM quilting, and it's called the Holiday Sampler.
Oh wow, look at that.
So she's designed some lovely rulers, and I just thought, Actually, I don't know why it's called just holiday, because if I show you in a second, it's very, you know, it's not just for Christmas. It's like what I said.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have the tree. There we've got the tree
Nice.
with his little stem. You can see.
Yeah, yeah,
And again, if I had the echo foot on in here, I could make a smaller tree.
yeah, you could, of course, you could.
Yeah. And then you've got 2 circles, tiny ones, half inch and 1/4 inch little circles,
Nice.
and a little star in this set. Then you get 2 sizes of stepping stones, which I love this shape. These are gorgeous. And again, with the echo guide in the middle, you could make slightly smaller ones, different shapes. And these can be used that way or that way. Do you see they're slightly different shapes? They're not the same. Yeah. Lovely in borders. Can you imagine them down a border?
Well, and also just having them as sort of hangings.
Can you see I've used it in the border, half of it?
Oh, nice. Oh, you are clever. Oh,
and
yeah.
And it like mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
So really great. And then also, I haven't used this, but this would be great on the bigger lap quilt. This is like a loop-de-loop. So you'd stitch round here and then flip the template and stitch again.
Oh, that's very clever.
This would be lovely. This is a 3-inch.
That's very clever.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Really clever.
Ribbon candy, that's the official name.
Wow.
So I'll show you on the back of the packaging here how the ribbon candy works and the stepping stones. I just see this isn't just for Christmas for me.
No.
The tree, but don't we all use flora and fauna in lots of our quilting?
Well, and also the tile one up the top.
The tile one.
When you think there was an entire Tilda range that was all based on tiles.
I just think it's a beautiful shape
the
anyway.
Bon Voyage was all based around Victorian tiles.
So we are quite limited with numbers of these, unfortunately, like I said. But I just wanted to also show you, I know Donna's hinted at it here, this is the tree. And I just...
as a big flower.
And here she's done them sort of back to back.
Oh, wow.
I had a little play yesterday while I was prepping for the show.
Yeah.
So, I have... I don't know how it's best to show these.
There, like that.
Like this. This is...
Oh, beautiful.
This is the tree, pointy end out.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. When they all overlap, you get this.
Oh my goodness,
almost
that's
like
stunning.
So many different, aspects to that. So you can see my crosshair again.
I mean,
marked.
as a middle bit of a quilt, that would be amazing.
That's quite big as well. I haven't measured it actually, but that's maybe 8 or 9 inches. And this one is the one that Donna had put on the back of the thing. This is pointy end in. So it's got like a daisy thing going on in the middle.
Very gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now Geraldine would like to know, she said, Wesley Fab, I hope you're going to do some workshops on Merseyside again. She had to cancel the one that was going on
I came up to Laurel Byrne, who's the Westerly accredited tutor up in Liverpool.
Okay.
And I went up there just literally the day before, like the Monday before lockdown. I went up there and taught at her place up there. So I'd love to when I'm next allowed. I know Laurel messaged me yesterday. She's only just gone back to classes. So isn't that, this is what I'm saying. You don't just think, oh, well, that template's, I can only use that template at Christmas because it's a Christmas tree. But it's not that, it's not super, super Christmassy, is it?
Nope.
Nope.
So for anybody that is new to Westerly, because I've had a few people messaging saying, oh, new to Westerly, the thing is you need the starter set. That's your first thing because that will give you the foot. And if you put in the little note section when you buy it, what make of your machine you have, then that's great. We'll make sure that you get the correct version. Like I say, just go with the low shank. If in doubt, buy low and we will adjust it.
Yeah.
But we do need to know the make and model of your machine so we can get it right for you.
Also, I will just say, I use low shanks all the time on my high shank machine, but that's because the foot doesn't hop.
Right.
So in free motion, some machines will have a hopping motion that you can't turn off, and you need the thicker template, the high shank, to give it the stability.
The
my Janome just stays flush, as does this Juki. So you can actually use the thinner low shank templates on a high shank machine if the foot doesn't hop.
Right.
But not the other way around. You can't be putting a thicker high shank template on a low shank machine because it physically won't. It'll crash into the back of the foot. Okay, so if that helps you.
Elizabeth says that she likes the fact that you can come out without breaking the threads with the Westerly rulers, because they've got the little tunnely bits, haven't they?
That was the thing that Pars were actually the first in the UK, the first ruler work foot to come to the UK before Westerly. But those were the things I really didn't like about Pars. The rulers are quite big, so sometimes they can be quite cumbersome to use. Most of these are like quite small that you can handle nicely. The fact that you've got the gate, so we just showed you the 2-inch circle there. They've got this little, either a little jigsaw piece that comes out so that you can interchange templates without breaking the thread. Leonie, that designed the Westerly templates, has been quilting for like over 40 years, so she knew what was, you know, we don't want to keep breaking threads. And this one from Donna, it's actually got little slots everywhere, so even a tiny little slot like that for a circle, I can actually lift the foot slightly and just pop it under through the needle to get that in.
Oh, hang on, let me do that, sorry. There you go.
That's all right, if you can see that. So even with a very narrow slot opening, I just lift it up and slide that in. The tree has got like a bigger slot, so we can stitch. You see the little circles where she stitched, like the little circles could be baubles on the tree.
Nice. Yes.
So let me just, I'm just going to stitch this tree, and then I've got one other thing to share with you. Because
Naomi says, what are the templates needed for the circles?
What are the templates needed for the circles?
Yeah, which ones did you use for the circles?
For all the for the 2-inch circle and the clamshells, that was the sampler set.
Sampler set.
Yeah.
There you go.
But this holiday set has got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch circle, the mini circles. Yeah.
Anne says that she's in the middle of your radiance pattern.
Oh.
Yeah. She said the only thing that she's having a problem with is bringing up the thread at the end. Can you enlighten her?
Yes, for finishing, she means. I actually have a little video on my website.
Oh, there you go.
But I can run through it here.
Yeah, go on. Go on then.
But I do want to show you the bling. We have to talk bling.
Hang on, what bling?
Bling on Stanley.
Oh, Stanley bling.
Stanley bling, I think we have to talk. I've got to unpick this because I haven't put my usual...
I was going to say, you didn't put any dissolvable thread in the bottom.
No.
That's Angie's usual trick.
Well, I knew I had...
bobbin thread.
I knew I had a lot to get through today, so not just quilting. I really like
a very full show, it's been lovely.
Yeah, lots of stuff. So I didn't really think about that. I stitched the circle first and then the tree, but let's just take that all out. Just wanted to show you how it stitches around. There we go.
Oh, nice.
I did just randomly stitch a circle and then start on the tree. I wasn't positioning it. So when I
but that could be one of the little stars, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could do little rows of. You can decorate as much as you like.
Love
so
that.
Going on about decorate. So yeah. So anyway, finishing off on the. I hope you all agree with me that this template set is just
a bit gorgeous,
and I thought was well worth adding to my collection, as those of you know that I
are gathering.
Well, I don't just buy for the sake of it. Actually, I like that. You know, I can see that has good legs, like the sampler set. There's lots in there.
But that's it, isn't it? It's having that multifunctional.
Even though it's called holiday set, you see, that for me is not just. It's not just going to be used at Christmas.
Maybe they just mean that you need to be on holiday to have the time to use it.
You feel like you're on holiday using it. I have one other thing to show you.
It's like Jane, who's now got her holiday approved. She's all good to go. Oh, yes.
So, Natasha, when we were chatting and I was on about blinging Stanley up, obviously, Natasha had got these fabulous bells, which they're incredible, these Liberty bells.
Oh, the little Liberty bells. Do you want to show that close up?
They do actually.
Go on. They properly properly ding. Yeah.
Properly 3D, because I thought they were flat, but they're not.
No.
Absolutely gorgeous.
We haven't popped those into the quilt ones because I wasn't sure if bells on a quilt was going to be snuggly.
So
it's on the wall hanging.
Can I pop him back up?
Yeah, go for it.
And then I won't be able to hold everything at once. So let's try and.
You're right there. I realise that.
He's there. Is he there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So I just randomly went through my ribbons and stuff yesterday, and I keep ribbons and stuff off all sorts of packaging. But I know you guys have probably got lots of ribbons. But look, you could just put him something.
Oh, we could have a bow tie.
Like a something hanging off the bottom. There's a big bow. I'd got this gorgeous one with a bit of pink around the end as well.
Show that on
you
a
could
close
even
up.
look. This is if he was a Stephanie, definitely in his. You could put bows on every antler.
Oh.
As well as bells
and bows.
However, I was having a play around with stars and tree shapes and whatever.
Oh, hang on a minute.
So I made.
Wow.
I made some little.
Out of the westerly rulers?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, I did just do these with a bit of bond web, so they probably
Sorry?
could have done with a bit. They could be 3D. I'd love to do 3D ones.
Yeah.
But I never play with the decorative stitches on my machine. So I've just used, this is the tree one, and I've just done some decorative stitching on there. Or you could just have it in the matching, because I've got the matching Liberty fabric. So with your leftover fabric from making the wall hanging, you could have your decorations in that.
Oh, I love that. What a great excuse to get out your decorative stitches as well.
Absolutely. So that's on the lovely silver Liberty there, look.
I love that silver Liberty.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's the Wiltshire shadow fabric, so they do a whole range of it. In fact,
I know the one.
Yeah, but
I've used the one actually on a ruler roll.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they do it in silver and gold for Christmas. But if you'd like me to bring in,
this is the little one,
the Wiltshire as blenders,
yes, the blenders,
the Liberty blenders,
yeah, they are
then
lovely.
Let me know and I'll get them in.
That's where I've used on and like a tealy colour on one of my ruler rolls. That's the little stepping stone.
Nice.
And again, Liberty on. You could just have it in the matching Liberty, for your wall hanging. Then I made a little star, like we talked about how to just draw that.
Oh yeah.
With a little decorative stitch in the middle. And if you were going all out modern, if you're not in for traditional at all,
Yay!
we've got to have a bit of cave.
Oh, one of Brandon's zigzags. Yeah.
So what I thought was, I just think it would be amazing to actually have stuff hanging off
your wall hanging.
3D.
Nice. Nice.
So you could have all that. Or where's the Liberty one? So or the Liberty, you could just have it in the matching whatever you've done to your border fabric.
Oh, how gorgeous.
So just some ideas. I thought it would be really. I got bondweb on my iron yesterday doing this.
Oh no, aspirin. Aspirin gets.
I was like, I've got a new iron and a new ironing board, and then I was like,
Well, it's all right. You've christened it now. It's like when you get the first scratch on your new car.
Really frustrating. What do we think, ladies? What feedback are we getting? Tash?
I think gorgeous.
Are we,
no one's saying either way. I think
Nobody's
everyone's just
saying.
enjoying.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth wants to know if the
Look at
bells go
them.
on the tips of the antlers. I've put in 10, so you can put them anywhere you like. Really? Because I was going to put in 6, then I was like, oh, maybe some people might want them underneath, so I put in 10.
Tash?
Yep. Nice! Nice! Yes! Well, that's your Christmas party outfit sorted then, isn't it? Oh,
So,
awesome.
there, unless there's any other questions, or I know you probably want to do a roundup of the fabrics maybe.
Yeah,
if you've got
I will
something
do a
to
very quick roundup.
Then I think I've covered pretty much
Oh, you're a superstar.
everything.
Thank you.
Can you think
Thank
of
you,
anything
thank
I've
you.
missed?
No, all good. All good. But like I say, if you're buying Westerly for the first time, oh, they're just saying gorgeous and beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're buying Westerly for the first time, just let us know what your machine is. Just write it in the little comments bit when you check out. But if you forget, don't worry, we'll send you an email. We will track you down one way or another.
We'll have to, yeah. We
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be sending you the wrong thing.
No, that would not be
And then
okay.
it does, you know, it's an awful lot of postage to be sending stuff back and forth.
We
isn't
don't
it?
want to
So
do that.
Don't want to do that. I'm going to step aside so that Tash can get back in and
Oh, it's like a little dance, isn't
show
it?
you all these gorgeous fabrics.
Well, I'm going to whiz through them because then I've got to ring and check that Captain Small is happy at school
yes.
to see whether or not she does a half day or a whole day. Bearing in mind she has screamed every time she's gone for a settling in day when we've tried to take her out. So there's no screaming going in. It's when she has to be removed from nursery that she.
That's lucky though to be like that.
The way to do it, isn't it? So to recap very quickly. Okay, I'm going to put the bells to one side. You get bells either silver or gold, depending on which fabrics you've. Whether you've got silver or gold fabric. We can do Stanley in the lovely Baltic and then the stars. And the silver. We can do him in your very traditional ones. And again, there's your gold Liberty in there. And these are $14.99 a kit for the wall hanging Liberty, for the wall hanging Stanleys. If you would like him in that colourway, then go for it. Or if you would like it with the Baltic instead of the red, then we also have that option. And then if you would like, the jingling every time I put the bells on, that lovely red with the stars and the gold, then we've got that option as well. Or if you just love the fabrics, you know, we're not saying it has to be for a Stanley. We have also got for the lap quilt, we have got, these are lovely Moda fabrics. These are by Joe Morton. They're the Shelbyville range. So
they're good. They're lovely.
Autumnally,
warm, aren't they?
Yeah, warm tones. So either go for the red leaf or, excuse me, stretching, the brown leaf. But again, you've got the contrasting colours in all of those. Or if you want a Christmas version, then you're going to get a metre of each of those Liberty prints, and then then a metre of the slate. And if I just, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's really lovely, that is.
And then if I hold that up, you can see why we went for the slate and how beautifully that picks up all of those blues.
The slate's actually a bit paler than what it's. Oh, that's better. I was going to say it's showing a bit dark there, but that's better, isn't it?
It's like the Baltic. I couldn't get the right colour for the Baltic on the photos.
Yeah.
So you've just got to see that actually with the Baltic, how it is. It looks like a dark blue on there, but it's not.
It's more, it is more tealy.
Yeah, it's
more like
colour
the
of the
teal
leaf.
you can see in the centre of the Liberty, those little flecks.
It's exactly that one, which is why I grabbed it. Yeah. So there you go. They are the fabrics for you today. They are the kits. Don't forget, of course, to get your pattern. Lots of you have gone for the glider sheet. Well done. Angie, thank you so much. Can we start to put this in regularly, do you think?
It depends how quickly I can get another pattern to bring you. But yeah, I'd love to. You know, I always love to come here.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. And
thank you,
everyone at home. I'm going to step aside so Angie can come on and wave at you. And there we go. We've got our tape measure distance around. But thank you ever so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow morning launching, you know, the Seams hand cream. Have you ever tried the Seams hand cream?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. So it smells divine, but Karen at Seams, who's a very, very clever lady, has now developed a hand sanitizer that smells. It's just there. Grab it. Have a sniff of that. But you can stitch with it because it's not greasy.
Ooh,
it smells good.
Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? It's with lots of
this was designed with sewers in mind.
Lovely.
So she's now created, and so we're going to be able to launch it tomorrow.
Fabulous.
And my very clever friend Gemma has done a little cover for the sanitizer bottle. so you can take your sanitizer anywhere you like. And we've got some beautiful fabrics that all go with the seams, and we've got bundles and goodness knows what for you tomorrow. So that is tomorrow's show, and I will show you how to make that. I mean, it won't be anything quite like this, but it's good to have variety, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, Angie, thank you so much. It's so good to see your face.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for all your lovely messages. I hope you've enjoyed the show.
And well, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Stay safe. Bye-bye.